Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here, and today I have a layout for Confessions of a Paper Addict, and I am going to be using a cut file from the shop. This is one that was released probably last year or earlier in the summer, I kind of forget. And I want to say this is called Create a Sparkle. I will list down below in the description box the name of the cut file, and when I come back on the video I will have the name. The name is escaping me and I don't have my computer on to look it up, but I am using this cut file. It's a background type cut file. So what I did is I cut it on white cardstock, and I'm actually just going to use it as a stencil. So I've placed it on top of my pattern paper, which is just a text pattern paper. And what I really want to do is just create a subtle texture on the background, and I don't want it to be super like in your face kind of thing. So I'm just going to use some of this opal glitter medium to add a little bit of sparkle basically to my background. So I wanted this to be a very sort of subtle background and use of a cut file. That's the great thing about cut files, is that you don't have to use them as a cut file and make it my whole background. I can use it as a stencil, or like you've seen in lots of my layouts, I use cut files to use as embellishment clusters and whatnot. This one I wanted to use to create a background, but not actually use the cut file itself. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and build or layer on this paste onto the background, and then it's going to take a while to dry. So I'm going to film this first part, let it dry, and then we're going to come back and we will build the layout. I will have my photos backed. I am using my How to Kill a Kit with Style. So these are the papers. So I have, this is going to be the background to the whole layout. And then I have this pattern paper here. And then these two 6x8 sheets here. This is one of the page kits that I have put together for my How to Kill a Kit with Style for the month of November. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. So I will, when I come back, have my background done, and I'll have it glued to this red cardstock. And then I will have a chunk of this, and then these two photos I'm going to have matted on each of these pattern papers. So I will have all of this sort of glued together on my background, so that when I come back, I'll be able to tell you the name of this cut file, and I'll also be able to go through what I've laid out here, and we'll build the embellishment clusters and create this page. But to start off, I just wanted to be able to show you what I'm going to do with this particular cut file and create this background. So bear with me. I am just really quick going to add just some adhesive to my mat. I have a glass mat here, and so I'm just going to add a little adhesive, and that's basically just so that my background paper does not move once I put my stencil over the top. So a lot of this will get covered up. As you saw, the pattern papers are obviously going to cover some of this, so that is just the nature of this. So all I'm going to do is just hold my paper down, and as you can see, which might be actually really hard to see on camera, I realize, because this is just a clear paste with a whole bunch of iridescent glitter in it. So I do realize that you're probably not seeing anything on camera as I'm putting this down. So once I come back after it's dried, I will hold it up close to the camera, because like I said, I'm going for a very subtle background, so you are not going to see, this isn't going to be like super bold and super easily seen, I guess could be the right word. I'm going for subtle, so I guess keep that in mind when you go to look at this, but I'll try to hold it up to the camera once I have let it dry so that you can actually see the sparkle. I can tell you that in real life, not on camera, it is super sparkly, like, I mean super sparkly. So I can see it for sure. I do think once it dries, it's probably going to be pretty subtle, and I'm okay with that. That is kind of what I was going for. So I'm just putting this on. Now, obviously, I've cut my stencil with white cardstock, so I probably wouldn't be reusing this as a stencil, but that's the other great thing is because I have it, I can always reprint it, and if I wanted to, I could use some stencil, some actual stencil material and actually cut this as a reusable stencil. So I don't know if you can see it on camera. I guess it shows up just a little bit. You can kind of see it in the light. So it's very subtle. I think you can definitely see though some of the areas, and it's not perfect. I'm not gonna lie, it's not perfect. Some of the spots didn't get a ton of glitter, so I could come back and dot some in here. Some of the diamonds didn't get fully covered, but that's the thing about mixed media, is it is not meant to be perfect. So what I'm just going to do is go ahead and let this now dry. It is definitely going to take quite a while, I think, to dry. So I'm going to let it dry, and so like you see, it is just a very subtle background, and I think I'm seeing, from what I can see on camera, I think you are able to see it at least a little bit. So that's kind of exciting. So hopefully you get the feel of what I was going for. And so like I said, I'm going to come back, have my background all put together, and have just the embellishing needing to go on this page. So I will be back once this has all had a chance to dry. My background is all glued down. I have my photos down, and I did end up using the back side of this red piece of pattern paper and use the rest of the floral just to add a little bit more pattern paper to the layout. I have gone ahead and put my title here at the top, and when I got everything down, I realized that I wanted the pattern of that cut file to stand out a little bit. I definitely think you can see it. You see it better in person, but you can see it a little bit on the camera. And while I liked it, I thought it could stand to have some of these inner pieces that get cut out with the cut file. It could stand to have those added just to give it a little bit more presence on the page and add a little bit more interest. It actually makes it so that I don't have to do a whole lot of embellishing to this page. And so I just took some Distress Oxide in, let me see, yeah, some fossilized amber, which was the closest to this yellow. And I just took a blending brush and just colored these little diamonds. I guess you could call them diamonds or star kind of shapes. And I have two at the top, and then the rest kind of following that pattern all the way down to this one that's kind of in the center. So I'm really liking how this background is. I definitely think that the cut file has added just a little bit of interest. It's not super in your face like this is like cut file, but it is just adding the right amount of interest to the background. And the cut file was called, I was right, it was A Little Sparkle, which I'm pretty sure is what I said at the beginning of the video. I just couldn't remember at the time the name, but that is the name of this cut file. And like I said, I'll have the link down below to the Facebook group where you can grab the free cut file and check out all the other inspiration, and the shop so you can go grab this cut file or any other cut file. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and build out the clusters. So I've kind of pulled together what I want to use. So because these pictures are of the welcome, the sign to the resort, and then the little welcome, there was this sort of little pillow towel puppy, and then there was one on each of the beds as well, different little towel animals. And so these are from our family vacation a couple of years back. So this is going to go in that album. So that's why the camper's there, because we drove there and I figured that works for driving. So I'm going to go ahead and put this camper here at the bottom, and I'm going to add some of these florals. These are printable florals that I have fussy cut. These are from Nicole Jones. And so I'm just going to add these florals, kind of play around with them, but essentially they're going to go like that. I just have a label as well behind there. You're just going to see it stick out a little bit, but essentially it's going to go something like this. And then I might put a little word strip here to the side. I'll tuck that under, I think. And then I have a little heart that I'm thinking I might add in here as well. I have to glue that down anyway. And then I have a little rainbow, which I also thought I might stick in here. We'll see if this makes it. I haven't quite decided if I want that on there. So that's going to be the center cluster, and then I'm just going to have two other clusters up here, and I just want to leave this detail with the sort of starred pattern all the way down, just the way it is. So I don't really want to mess with that part too much. So I'm just going to build a cluster out here and simply use some of these florals in my clusters. So we're going to go like this. I have my title, as you can see, already in place, and it is just a gold. This was a Maggie Holmes alphabet, so I just went ahead and used that for my title, and I'm going to have that right there, and I'll put a little word sticker up here. So I'm going to build that cluster up there, and then like I said, I'm going to follow that up with another cluster, basically mirroring that here. And we will put our florals. I have another little flare. These are from Scrap and Happy Studio. So I'm going to add that in there. And again, another little word strip says hello. And I do have some little ladybugs that I was thinking that I might stick on the page here. And I have a little heart that will also go in each cluster, just to bring in some of that gold again. So I'm not sure where that's going to go, but I'm going to stick it right in there for now. Everything is sticking to my hands and nothing's glued down, so everything's moving. So my clusters are going to go like that. I don't know if that little rainbow is going to make it on the page or not. We'll see if it makes it down to this cluster. I think what I'm going to do is glue that down, and then I'm going to come back and just finish up the page with just a few of these gold medallion sequins from SPIEGELMOM Scraps. Again, just bringing in some gold. So I'm probably just going to do a small scatter here and here. Again, I just want to leave this clean, this part of the page, so I'm not going to add anything down here. I like the way that looks. Okay, last up to finish off this page, as you can see, I have all of the embellishment clusters are done. I did go ahead and add one extra flare from the set to this cluster just to finish it off. And now we're just going to come in with a few sequins. I'm just thinking 3 in each cluster, just to add a little bit more of that gold. I have a heart, but just to bring in a little bit more of that gold, since my title is all gold, I just want to go ahead and add just a couple of sequins. Like I said, I'm only going to do 3 in each cluster. Really, really simple. I didn't want a whole lot. I wanted to keep this page pretty simple. So I am liking where this one went. So we're going to finish it off with the sequins. I'm using these ones that are the closest, I think, match to the title from the gold medallion sequins that I have. And I'm trying to go with these bigger sized ones just because I want to have them have a little bit of presence on the page. I don't want them to be super tiny that you can't see that they're there. And of course, this one is not playing nice. I do love using this crystal katana. It really does pick up the sequins pretty well, which is great. So I'm going to just put my last 3 sequins down, and we are going to call this page done. So be sure to check out the shop and check out the cut files and the Facebook group, and with that we are going to call this one done. I will have still photos at the end, and with that guys, I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a great day everybody. Bye bye.